Production and distribution of chemical reference materials. Introduction. The preceding chapters detail the extensive for the reference materials in the ocean science. This chapter focuses on what is required to produce new reference materials as well as how to encourage the use of those that already exist. Many of the materials currently available do not represent the matrices in which oceanographers work, nor do they certain the desired analytes at the concentration for in nature. Furthermore, the sources of reference materials and certified reference materials are, are diverse, and information about them is not well coordinated. Better cooperation and linkages again amongst reference materials users and certified reference material producers should be encouraged. Comar and the link. An international database for sharing information between reference material suppliers is a good start, but it is not user friendly and its existence is not widely known within the oceanographic community. More must be done to share information and encourage production and use of reference materials and certified reference materials. Scientific societies and international organizations have a clear and present opportunity and responsibility to encourage training in analytical quality control at the provision and use of reference materials in ocean science, thus enhancing the quality of measurements made. Requirements in reference materials. Reference materials must fulfill certain rigorous criteria before they are accepted and found useful by the analytical community. The following conditions are prerequisites for preparing reference materials that are mutually acceptable and to organizations around the world. Homogeneity. The first one is the homogeneity. Homogeneity assures that the analysis of the subsamples of the reference materials taken for measurement will produce the same analytical result within the state measurement uncertainty. This is particularly important in the case of certified reference materials. Reference materials producers therefore must specify the minimum amount of sample for which homogeneity has been measured and is valid. Finally, the ease of re-homogenizing the material after packaging must be taken into consideration. Stability. Producers must state the length of the reference material's usable life. Since they can be sensitive to light, humidity, microbial activity, and temperature, time, and so more. Long-term testing is required to validate the stability of the material under a variety of storage and transport conditions. 3. Similarity to the real sample. To produce meaningful analytical results, the reference material should mimic as closely as possible to matrix of the text sample for accuracy, uncertainty, and traceability. A certified value is the best approximation of the true concentration of the analyte. During the certification process, a variety of analytical methods may be used to determine this true value. Uncertainty estimates ultimately based on this process, together with information about the material's homogeneity, can give a certified reference material traceability needed to true international comparability. Reference material and certified reference material production. Recently, several books have been written by describing the requirement for the and protocols for the production of reference materials in general and for environmental science in particular. Due to space limitation, only a brief summary of these ideas is presented before. The reader is encouraged to consult these works directly if a more detailed discussion is required. Schunke in 2000 has collected a series of general interest papers on the use of reference materials in analytical chemistry. While writing for chemists, the book addresses both the certification process and The application of reference materials to a variety of applications from materials testing to environmental analysis. A brief summary of international collaboration via the COMAR database is also included. For a discussion of the various steps of the certification process and the requirements for the reference materials for a wide variety of specific substances, see Stopla et al. 2001. Finally, for a discussion of the preparation of matrix reference material for various environmental applications, Parcani and Facchibelli in 1999 provide a true discussion of example material from several national metrology organizations along the chapter detailing their intended uses. The preparation of a reference material requires substantial planning prior to undertaking a specific project. See the box 5.1. Let's go see the box 5.1, 5.501, 5.1, 5.1.1. General step in preparation of reference materials is Topler et al. 2001. 1. Define the reference material, including the matrix, the properties of to be certified, and their desired levels. 2. Design sampling procedure. 3. Design sample preparation procedure. 4. Select a method prepared for homogeneity and stability testing. 5. Design a characterization of the reference material. 6. Acquire samples. 7. Prepare samples. 4. Test the homogeneity. 9. Test the stability. 10. Characterize the reference material. 11. Combine the result of the homogeneity testing, stability testing, and characterization and assemble the uncertainty statement. And 12. Set up the certificate and, if I prepare a certification report. So let's continue. This process begins with the definition of material to be produced. For example, preparation of a seawater-based reference material containing the nutrient elements nitrato, phosphato, and hydroxide silicia and concentration level appropriate to oceanic samples and certified for these constituents. Those definitions arise either from internal decision by reference material producers such as NIST and NRC Canada, typically in response to perceived needs, or through external pressure of these producers from potential users. Um, This report, for example, explicitly identifies a number of pressing needs for reference material for the ocean science. Uh-huh. Design. We are in the tree. Design, select homogeneity and stability testing method. Okay. At the same time, decision must be made regarding the producers of these materials for new reference material needs identified within agencies such as NIST and NRC Canada. This entails a decision of whether to produce the material in-house or to subcontract the work elsewhere. For externally recognized needs, both a supplier, either one of the recognized, where is it? I don't see it. Is it still here? Wait, where is it? Really? Where is it? I don't know where it is. Yes. And then, wait. Recognize facilities or possibly ad hoc group of investigators. The next task is usually to obtain a sufficient amount of raw material with the desired properties. The amount of material needed depends on 1. The number of samples of reference material needed. 2. The need of feasibility study. 4. The number of samples for homogeneity. 5. Number of samples for stability. And the last one is number of samples for characterization of the reference material. Once a sample is acquired, the supplier begin to prepare the material in a state it will be used. It is particularly important at this stage to stabilize the material if required to prevent the changing composition of critical components and to homogenize the material so that all future subsamples will be identical as possible. If additional procedures, the reduction of grain size, are needed to prepare the desired material, this should occur in this stage At this point of a preliminary assessment of homogenization should also be made, components and homogenized, okay? Since one of the main goals of reference material Since one of the main goals of reference material production is to provide a stable reference material, tests for stability begin early in the production process. Okay, let me test for the stability. Test for stability. Okay. Test for stability. Ideally, these should be conducted over a expected lifetime of the reference material prior to distribution. However, these tests can be conducted concurrently if required. Once the stock material has been determined to be stable and homogeneous, it can be divided into portions and prepared for use as laboratory reference materials. Uh, One is stable and in accord with homogeneity. Um, uh-huh. Could be sub portions divided into portions. It could be divided into portion. I prepare for use in laboratory. Okay. The portion size depends on the analyst expectation. In some cases, providing single-use samples is appropriate. The material maybe have a little stability after being open. That is unlikely that it could be used again. In such cases, however, insufficient quantity can lead to low detection levels, such those increase in error. Alternatively, Alternatively, however, a single package can produce several replicates so that too much material leads to extensive reuse of the open container. This can result in a problem with reference material integrity and thus cause potentially inaccurate results. Once the material has been packaged, it must then be checked for uniformity. Any additional characterization of the material in the form in which it will be distributed, grain size, color, should be conducted at this stage. Subsequently, material is analyzed for analyte of interest for certification purposes, after which the certificate of analysis can be prepared. It is also imperative that the certified reference materials or reference materials be continually monitored for stability throughout its usable lifetime. This process should also include periodic reassessment of the certified concentrations. The usable lifetime of the reference material depends on both its inherent stability and also in its rate of use. It will thus be necessary to establish a timetable for the preparation further batches of the material so as to ensure that supplies are always available. These subsequent batches, particularly if they are matrix-based, which need to be treated almost like a new material, they should be tested for stability and a complete new certification will be needed for each replacement batch. This involves substantial work each time it is done, hence it is desirable to make a large batch as practical, consistent with the probable shelf life as an expected usage. Okay?